CCSP exam practice questions. Domain 3, Cloud Platform and Infrastructure Security. Part 4. Question 1. When conducting business impact analysis, BIA for cloud services, what is the primary output that helps organizations make informed decisions about control implementation? A. A detailed network diagram showing all cloud service dependencies. B. A list of all critical applications and their cloud service providers. C. A prioritized listing of risks with their annualized loss expectancy values. D. A comprehensive inventory of all cloud-based assets. Correct answer, C. Explanation. The primary output of a business impact analysis, BIA, is a prioritized listing of risks that might disrupt the organization's business, complete with their annualized loss expectancy values. This quantitative information helps organizations make informed decisions about control implementation by allowing them to compare the cost of controls against the potential losses they might prevent. For example, if a control costs $50,000 and would reduce a $145,000 annual loss expectancy by 50%, the organization can clearly see that the control would pay for itself in less than a year. Question 2. During a disaster recovery scenario, which metric represents the maximum acceptable time period from which data may be lost? A. Recovery service level, RSL. B. Recovery point objective, RPO. C. Recovery time objective, RTO. D. Maximum tolerable downtime, MTD. Correct answer, B. Explanation. The recovery point objective, RPO, specifically defines the maximum acceptable time period from which data may be lost as a result of a disaster. This metric is crucial for determining backup frequency and strategies. While RTO focuses on how quickly a service must be restored, and RSL defines the minimum service level required during recovery, RPO specifically addresses the acceptable data loss window. For example, if an organization has an RPO of 4 hours, their backup strategy must ensure that no more than 4 hours worth of data could be lost in a disaster scenario. Question 3. A company is evaluating different types of disaster recovery sites. Which type of site is fully equipped and operational but requires several hours to days to activate? A. Cold site. B. Hot site. C. Warm site. D. Mirror site. Correct answer, C. Explanation. A warm site represents a compromise between hot and cold sites. It has the necessary hardware and software to support operations, but is not kept running in parallel like a hot site. While a hot site can be activated almost immediately, and a cold site might take weeks or months to prepare, a warm site typically requires hours to days to activate. The warm site offers a balance between cost and recovery time, making it an attractive option for organizations that can tolerate some downtime but need faster recovery than a cold site can provide. Question 4. In a business continuity scenario, what is the primary purpose of conducting a single point of failure analysis? A. To document all possible system failures for compliance purposes. B. To identify and eliminate components whose failure would cause system downtime. C. To calculate the total cost of system redundancy. D. To determine the optimal number of backup systems needed. Correct answer, B. Explanation. The primary purpose of conducting a single point of failure analysis is to identify and eliminate components whose failure would cause system downtime. This systematic process examines each component of a system to determine if its failure would cause the entire system to fail. Once identified, these single points of failure can be addressed through redundancy or other mitigation strategies. For example, a single firewall might be replaced with a high availability pair, or a single web server might be replaced with a clustered farm of servers to eliminate these components as single points of failure. Question 5. When implementing backups in a cloud environment, what is the key advantage of using incremental backups over differential backups? A. Faster restore time. B. More comprehensive data coverage. C. Reduced storage space requirements. D. Simpler restoration process. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Incremental backups offer reduced storage space requirements compared to differential backups because they only contain files that have changed since the last backup, full or incremental. While differential backups contain all changes since the last full backup, incrementals only store changes since the last backup of any type. This results in smaller backup sizes, though it does require a longer restoration process, as all incremental backups must be applied in sequence after the full backup. The trade-off is between storage space efficiency and restoration time. Question 6. Which type of disaster recovery test provides the most effective validation of a DR plan while potentially disrupting business operations? A. Walkthrough test. B. Full interruption test. C. Parallel test. D. Simulation test. Correct answer, B. Explanation. A full interruption test provides the most effective validation of a DR plan because it actually simulates a disaster by shutting down the primary operating environment and attempting to operate from the disaster recovery environment. While this type of test will most thoroughly highlight any deficiencies in the plan, it's also the most potentially disruptive to normal business operations. This is why full interruption tests are relatively rare, and organizations often opt for less disruptive testing methods like walkthroughs, simulations, or parallel tests for regular validation of their DR plans. Question 7. What is the main purpose of implementing fault tolerance in a cloud computing environment? A. To distribute workload across multiple systems. B. To prevent system failure through component redundancy. C. To reduce operational costs. D. To improve system performance. Correct answer, B. Explanation. The main purpose of implementing fault tolerance is to prevent system failure through component redundancy. Fault tolerance, FT, makes a single system resilient in the face of technical failures by incorporating redundant components like dual power supplies, RAID storage configurations, and NIC teaming. This is different from high availability, HA, which uses multiple systems to protect against failures. Fault tolerance focuses on making individual systems more resilient through built-in redundancy of critical components. Question 8. In the context of business continuity, what is the primary difference between RAID 1 and RAID 5? A. RAID 1 provides no redundancy while RAID 5 does. B. RAID 1 uses mirroring while RAID 5 uses striping with parity. C. RAID 1 is more expensive to implement than RAID 5. D. RAID 1 can only handle 2 drives while RAID 5 requires exactly 5 drives. Correct answer, B. Explanation. The primary difference between RAID 1 and RAID 5 is their method of achieving redundancy. RAID 1 uses disk mirroring, where data is written identically to 2 disks, creating an exact copy. RAID 5 uses striping with parity, distributing data across 3 or more disks with parity information that allows data recovery if one disk fails. While both provide fault tolerance, they use different approaches and have different storage efficiency characteristics. Question 9. When implementing a cloud-based disaster recovery solution, which of the following is the most important consideration for determining RPO, recovery point objective? A. The cost of the backup solution. B. The bandwidth available between sites. C. The rate of data change in the production environment. D. The number of virtual machines in use. Correct answer, C. Explanation. The rate of data change in the production environment is the most important consideration for determining RPO in a cloud-based DR solution. This is because the RPO represents the maximum acceptable data loss, and the rate of data change directly impacts how frequently backups need to be performed to meet that objective. While bandwidth, cost, and infrastructure are important factors, the rate of data change fundamentally determines what RPO is achievable and what backup frequency is required to meet it. Question 10. What is the primary purpose of personnel succession planning in business continuity? A. To reduce staff turnover rates. B. To ensure regulatory compliance. C. To maintain operational continuity when key personnel leave. D. To minimize training costs. Correct answer, C. Explanation. The primary purpose of personnel succession planning in business continuity is to maintain operational continuity when key personnel leave the organization. IT operations depend heavily on skilled team members who develop, configure, and maintain critical systems and processes. Succession planning identifies essential team members and potential successors, ensuring that when someone leaves, there are prepared individuals who can step into their role. This maintains operational continuity and reduces the risk of disruption due to personnel changes. Question 11. Which backup strategy would be most appropriate for a cloud-based system that requires minimal storage space while accepting a longer recovery time? A. Full backups only. B. Differential backups. C. Incremental backups. D. Snapshot-based backups. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Incremental backups would be most appropriate for a system that requires minimal storage space while accepting a longer recovery time. Incremental backups only store changes made since the last backup, whether full or incremental, resulting in the smallest backup sizes. However, recovery takes longer because you must restore the last full backup and then apply each subsequent incremental backup in sequence. This trade-off of storage efficiency for recovery time makes incremental backups ideal for scenarios where storage space is a primary concern. Question 12. In a cloud environment, what is the most effective way to ensure business continuity across multiple availability zones? A. Implementing multiple backup copies. B. Using synchronous replication between zones. C. Maintaining redundant systems with automated failover. D. Conducting regular disaster recovery tests. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Maintaining redundant systems with automated failover is the most effective way to ensure business continuity across multiple availability zones in a cloud environment. This approach provides real-time protection against failures by automatically switching operations to redundant systems in different availability zones when problems occur. While backups, replication, and testing are important components of a comprehensive BC strategy, automated failover of redundant systems provides the highest level of continuity by minimizing downtime and maintaining service availability across zone failures.